The NFL playoffs, a time beginning in early January and ending early February, where most of the American population, those with a sense of intelligence, all tune in to watch the six best teams from each respective conference. They face off for one goal: to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. Some NFL franchises seem to constantly be in the hunt, creating such memorable moments as T.Y. Hilton's 64-yard touchdown reception to cap a 28-point comeback against the Chiefs in the 2013 Wild Card, or Carlos Dansby's fumble recovery in overtime to seal the 2009 Wild Card matchup against the Packers, or even Troy Polamalu's pick six to punch the ticket to Super Bowl 43 in the 2008 AFC Championship game. All of these are historic memories for these NFL franchises. But for 9 NFL franchises, they haven't been able to produce such memories or even tally anything in the playoff win column in over a decade. Today we'll be looking at 9 NFL teams that haven't had a playoff win in over a decade, and if we think these droughts will come to an end in the next 3 years. First, we look at the Cincinnati Bengals. With a 27th season playoff win drought, I think it's only fair to get an expert to weigh in on what has taken place over that time.
I don't want that camera on me. Put this one on me. Any questions about the Cincinnati Bengals being a contender offends me. Last time I checked, in order to be a contender, you actually have to win a playoff game.
Though Stephen A. is a little over the top, like he always is, he isn't necessarily in the wrong. The Bengals' losing streak is currently the longest streak in the NFL of seasons without a playoff win. They have currently lost 8 playoff games in a row. 50% of those have been home games, and only 2 of the 8 have ended in at least one possession difference in the score. Whether it is old-fashioned gridiron whoopings or last-second field goals to end their seasons, the Bengals have definitely seen it all when it comes to postseason finishes. But do not blow your top too soon, Marvin Lewis supporters and Houday Nation. The streak will definitely end in the next 3 years, with players such as Geno Atkins, A.J. Green, Vontaze Burfict, and the dual-threat backfield of Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard. This team's playoff win drought looks to be coming to an end very soon. Next, we have the Detroit Lions. With a 26-season streak without a playoff win, it makes them look a whole year better than the Bengals. But in actuality, it may be the worst streak on the list. The Lions have lost 9 playoff games in a row, 3 of them finishing with a score difference of 1 possession, but 2 of those 3 happened to take place in the 90s, and all but 1 of those 9 losses have been away games. That's not a stab at the Lions, but knowing they opened their stadium, Ford Field, in 2002, and the stadium itself has represented 1 Super Bowl, 1 NCAA Final Four, and a WrestleMania before the Lions could get a home playoff game appearance, it's pretty embarrassing. Now, before the Lions fans flip out because I said I wasn't going to take a stab at them and then I did, just understand this team's playoff streak will come to an end soon. In Stafford we trust. Next on the list, we have the Buffalo Bills. It's been 22 seasons since this team has seen a playoff win. They've only seen 5 playoff games since the streak started. But before that, they lost 4 Super Bowl games in a row, so they have another losing streak that exists as well. Over their 5 playoff game losing streak, all but 1 have ended with 1 possession difference in the score, so the majority has been pretty close. But after the controversial Motor City Miracle in 1999, they went into a 16-season hiatus from the playoffs, with teams like the Dolphins and the Jets getting better in their division and the Patriots still being who they are. This team's playoff win hiatus could prolong to even past what the Bengals is right now. There is a lot of open question marks with this team and franchise. The Cleveland Browns currently have a 20-season playoff win drought since the team was an expansion team in 1999. The earlier Browns went to Baltimore. They're now the Ravens. So it doesn't make them look as bad, but still pretty bad. They have only had one playoff game since being an expansion team, so instead of choosing from a large array of playoff game highlights to show you, I decided to show you a bunch of Johnny Manziel highlights. Hopefully that'll spark a comeback season in the Browns themselves. Furthermore, with adding players to this roster and the recent changes in head coach, this team's playoff win drought will end very soon. I'm not making Super Bowl predictions, but with the guys like Baker Mayfield, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Jabril Peppers, Jarvis Landry, and the list goes on of young guys, this team will definitely be able to get at least one playoff win very soon. Now on to the Miami Dolphins. They currently have had 17 seasons without a playoff win. They've only had 4 playoff games to show for those 17 seasons, but the worst part about those 4 games is that they've only scored a total of 24 points. Out of the 4 games, they're averaging just 6 points a game and allowing 26 points per game. Not by any means a formula for success. With having Tom Brady in your division for so long, I kind of understand why the streak exists. But that only means when he finally moves on, this Dolphin team will be the next up in the division. They have great coaching, a lot of young talent. Makes them next in line, definitely in that division. Now on to the Oakland Raiders. They are currently on a 15-season losing streak or playoff win drought. Though they seemed like they were on the up and they were going to change that, the whole rebuild situation with John Gruden kind of made a setback for them. Their last playoff win got them into the Super Bowl in 2002. They were demolished by a John Gruden-led Buccaneers team. John Gruden got this team into the losing streak, and he'll definitely be the one to get them out. This team, once it's built in what John Gruden wants it to look like, it'll definitely be a formula for success, and the Raiders know that firsthand. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're also on a 15-season streak, just like the Raiders. They're started on a win. They beat the Raiders in Super Bowl 37, and they haven't gotten a playoff win since then. They haven't seen a large statistical outing of playoff appearances through the margins. They've had 2 games to show for over those 15 seasons. Both of those games ended in 1 possession of the score difference, so they've been moderately close. But the way this team keeps playing and moving around their figures on and off the field recently, their streak could be somewhere in the middle of its full length. Jameis Winston is not going to get this team anywhere. And I'm sorry, Bucs fans, but neither is Fitzpatrick. The best thing to do is bring back the creamsicle jerseys at least once a year so people will tune in and watch them play, because I don't see any playoff appearances anytime soon. Now the Los Angeles Rams. They currently have a 13-season drought. The fact that this team is on the list is explainable. They had Sam Bradford as their starter for quite a while. It's not a good formula for anyone that wants to be alive when the playoff season begins. The years before him were their efforts at trying to rebuild the team after the greatest show on turf with Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, etc. So the 13 seasons doesn't look as bad, but it really doesn't look too bad to any of the Los Angeles Rams fans right now. They simply aren't worried about it. Todd Gurley, Aaron Donald, Jared Goff, Brandon Cooks, Ndamukong Suh, Sean McVay, the list goes on. What else could you really ask for? Not only will this team have a playoff win to show pretty soon, but they may even have a Super Bowl or 2 that could be right upon the horizon. The last team on the list is the Washington Redskins. They currently have a 12-season drought, and even after the quarterback carousel of RG3 and Kirk Cousins, they did get lucky with Alex Smith. He may not be the best quarterback in the league, but he's obviously a winner. with the roster they have now, as long as they can at least stay healthy, it looks bright for this team. I wouldn't say the future looks bright, though. Alex Smith, Adrian Peterson, and Josh Norman, if they start to deteriorate soon, the streak could be prolonged if it still exists. They have the Eagles in their division. If the Cowboys can drop Jason Garrett and showcase their youth, and though the Giants aren't performing at the top of their level, having to play Saquon Barkley and Odell twice a year is just not something to be excited about. As of recently, this Redskins team is the best in their division, and I think the streak of the playoff drought will end soon. If it doesn't take place in the next couple years, though, it may be longer than expected. So basically, out of the 9 teams, I believe the Bengals, the Rams, the Dolphins, the Browns, and the Lions, their droughts will come to an end soon. For all the other teams, you're on your own. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below for me and I'll check it out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.